Agri tech is certainly one of the core reasons why the optimism exists in the sector. Because we have small farmers distributed across a large part of the country, each one very heterogeneous. So you need to deliver a solution which is very personalized, and yet it needs to happen on a scale. So the only way you can do it is by leveraging digital technologies. So the hope certainly stems from what technology can do, and therefore this is also an integral part of these reforms. The trade and commerce facilitation recognizes the role of technology platforms. So technology platforms have two very broad roles. One is, we talked about how do you make our production system more demand responsive. So transmitting the demand signals and these pricing mechanisms that we talked about ahead of planting is one role. The second role is in terms of how do you raise productivity through precision farming, despite our farmers being small and heterogeneous. So whether you need to get real-time information like hyperlocal weather forecast, or whether you need to get something which is supported by remote sensing and get advanced predictability of a potential disease that might impact or a pest which is coming, or whether you look back at how the farm has responded to various inputs and create an advisory on the nature of inputs that need to get used for the best output, or whether it is technology enabled equipment for more precision application of inputs, whether it is micro irrigation or drone assisted spraying and all that, which also reduce the drudgery of the farmers, particularly women labor, who are involved in many of these kinds of activities. Or simple things like image processing of leaves and plants to identify the potential stress and therefore what action could be taken. Or on-farm assessment of quality through various equipment which is embedded with machine learning with different kinds of samples. The whole host of things which can really potentially transform.
Right.
But the reason why they are not at scale, the reason why we don't see unicorns yet, while plenty of them can come up sooner than later, I see as three different issues which need to get tackled. One is the technology has to translate into real money for the farmer. And so that effort is still underway. So if you have about 600 agri-tech startups which are in this effort, I would say that about 30-40 of them have become slightly more mature in translating a great technology idea into more money in the hands of farmers. So that is one aspect which also together has to come for them in terms of how do you create a business model on top of delivering value to the farmer. So that is one aspect which needs to get further refined in their own journey. The second is many of these are point solutions or point products. So it is not enough to say that I have a hyperlocal weather forecast that gives you exactly what's going to happen over the next 1 week on your farm. By itself, it is solving something, but it's not translating into more money in the hands of the farmer. You need to then go on with, therefore, what do I do? If I need to do this, then where do I access my credit? If I access credit, then how do I deal with my risk? So things like that is a continuous activity that the farmer needs to tackle. And therefore, you need a solutions integrator to put all these solutions together from a farmer's perspective. So that, for example, is the role that ITC eChopal 4.0 is working on. And also deliver them on ground to the farmers by hand-holding, because it's not just enough having a digital solution, because only so much penetration of smartphones or literacy and the farmer's own ability to self-service. So therefore, it needs to be a on-ground delivery mechanism as well. That is the second element. And lastly, is that a lot of core data elements need to be built as a common platform, and ideally government is placed to do it, because the individual farmer identification, much like the Aadhaar identity, each farmer identity together with land coordinates, as well as the crop basics. So these need to be the core data layer which the government can set up. And among the package that I was talking about, so this is also something government is in the process of doing, what is called the early consultation that has been happening. I happen to participate in some of those discussions. So as the Indian digital ecosystem for agriculture, so that has been conceived by the Ministry of Agriculture, and a task force is working on creating this layer of data which can then engage with rest of the app services and the solutions integrators, so that the scalability becomes far easier. If a solution is well tested in one geography, one crop, how do you take it instantly all over the country is through this kind of a support. So I think all of these elements are falling into place, and we will definitely see technology getting harnessed for the benefit of the farmer. On one hand, creating lots of business opportunities, potentially throwing up several unicorns.